Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 mod review. Today we are checking out a super underrated mod, and that's going to be the Winchester 5mm range rifle by J.K. Ruse 05, the same author that made the Range Master Remaster, which is really nice. Now, I absolutely adore this mod, and for a handful of reasons. It's super well crafted, and it was really well thought out, and features a lot of really interesting mechanics that I really appreciate. We'll start with the basics. The first thing that I really enjoy is the fact that when you upgrade your weapon, you actually feel like you're upgrading your weapon. And what I mean by that is, as you progress through the ranks of Gun Nut, you unlock better and better parts. It starts off as a junky weapon made out of spare parts and PVC pipe, and eventually gets to advanced military equipment, which is really nice, and similar to the way you upgrade weapons in vanilla Fallout 4, but on a little bit more of an extreme scale. Something else I appreciate is that it is chambered in 5mm. Now this is a small touch, but it adds more purpose to the 5mm round, which in the vanilla game is only used in the minigun. So having something else that can chamber these rounds is nice. Something that's really cool with this mod is that it has an ambidextrous bolt. Now that doesn't seem like it would matter, but it totally does, and the reason is that this mod uses the vanilla combat rifle animations, and that means that you can use either the reanimation pack by War Daddy or the right-handed reanimation pack by OCZ. This means that no matter which animation you use, vanilla or one of these two modded animations, you will have a bolt that actually makes sense without needing to change the model of the weapon, because again, it's ambidextrous, which is just genius. Lots of foresight there. Now, J.K. Ruse has even gone to add a little bit of lore to this weapon, saying that the Winchester range rifle was their answer to the Colt Range Master, sort of resembling the aging Ruger Mini 14 ranch rifle. He noted that it was unsuccessful until there was an article in the Guns and Bullets magazine which detailed how to convert the weapon to automatic fire, which resulted in it flying off the shelves. Nice little touch on the description of this weapon, just adds a little bit of lore friendliness into the game, which is nice. Now, I suppose that's enough information. We might as well jump in-game and see all of these features up close. So here we are in-game with the most basic version of the range rifle. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is that this thing actually is added to the leveled list and will start spawning on gunners and raiders around level 15. Or alternatively, you can actually download a file that replaces the combat rifle with this thing. So, pretty interesting. Now, here we can see that this thing has some really nice iron sights at its base. Super cool looking, very reminiscent of a Mini 14. And here we go, firing this thing using a War Daddy's reanimation pack. Looks very nice, fits the charging handle perfectly. Another thing I really appreciate is that this actually features alternative iron sights, which isn't present on most mods, but you can see here we have the improved iron sights, which is just a nicer sight picture, a little bit more open and easy to use. Now, I had mentioned a progression system, so as you can see, as we continue to upgrade the rifle, it takes on a whole new look. Now we have full wood furniture as well as a scope mount, and this also features support for see-through scopes, which is super cool. So, as you can see, when we ADS, we have a nice see-through scope sight picture. And I really like the way this rifle looks. It looks like an unbullpupped Halo battle rifle, which is pretty interesting. As we move down the line and continue to upgrade, we can get some really fancy scope mounts, a nice polymer stock, and even a really cool night vision scope, which has been completely remodeled by J.K. Ruse as well. Very nice. So here we get a good look at the basic version of the short range rifle, the most basic version of the weapon, which has no perks and no attachments. You get a base damage of 31, shoots 5mm rounds, has a fire rate of 74 in semi-automatic, has a range of 119, an accuracy of 72, a weight of 9.3 pounds, and a value of 150 caps. I really like the PVC piping. We've seen a lot of takes on junk weapons, but that is just perfect and it just makes sense. Seems like something way more plausible in terms of improvised weaponry. Really like it. Now, once you fully modify this thing, you can actually get all the way up to a damage of 54, and you don't even have to rechamber the rounds. That's still with 5mm bullets. So, damage of 54, still with no rifle perks. Obviously, if you take Max Rifleman, you can double that. So, speaking of attachments, we might as well check out everything there is to offer for the range rifle. Let's start with the receiver section. Here we have the standard receiver, light frame, heavy frame, calibrated, hardened, hair trigger, powerful, calibrated powerful, and advanced. You see there are no semi-auto or automatic variants because you can actually choose that in a different section. So you just grab the receiver you want for the damage you want. Then we have barrel options. We have the short, long, short light, and long light, short ported and long ported barrels. For stocks, we have the junk stock, which has the nice PVC piping we talked about before, and a nice wireframe stock. We have the factory stock, and then the improved stock. For magazines, we have the small magazine, medium, large, and then we have small dual mag, medium dual mag, and large dual mag, which are essentially your quick eject variants. Then when we go to move to the scope section, we actually can't equip anything, at least not yet. We'll get back to that in just a second. For muzzles, we have the options for no muzzle, a bayonet, the compensator, muzzle brake, and the suppressor. Then we have the trigger, where we can choose between semi-automatic or automatic. Now, automatic will increase the fire rate while also lowering the damage and accuracy. Then we have the no rail cover. So, we have the option for no rail cover, which is as you see above. Then we have the junk rail, the factory bolt cover, the improved bolt cover, the factory rail, and the improved rail. Now, if you choose the junk rail, factory rail, or improved rail, you will be able to attach a scope. So let's just grab the junk rail since we have a junk rifle. And then if we head back up to scopes, we have a handful of options. We have no scope. We have the combat 2.5 times scope, which is a nice custom model and texture. The short scope, the hollow sight circle, the reflex sight circle, and then the hollow and reflex sight again, but with the dot reticles. The medium scope, the combat scope 4 times, the combat scope 8 times, and the long scope. The short night vision scope, featuring the nice new model for the night vision scopes. The medium night vision scope and the long night vision scope. Then the medium recon scope, the recon scope 2.5 times, the short recon scope, the recon scope 4 times, and the long recon scope, and finally the recon scope 8 times. Then we have actual sights, which are going to be different iron sights. From there we can choose standard, improved, or glow sights, or improved glow sights. So if you're not running the scope rail, you can use these to change up how these sights look on your weapon. And that's it for attachments. And now we move on to the testing section of our video. As you can see, we have 3 Deathclaws in front of us. The first Deathclaw here will be tested with the base damage of the weapon, with the lowest damage we can achieve, and no perks. The second Deathclaw here is going to be a maxed out damage with the highest damage receiver we can put on in semi-automatic. And then the final Deathclaw will be the highest damage receiver in fully automatic. It'll definitely be more bullets, but I'm curious to see how much quicker the time to kill is. So, let's go ahead and start here on the end, using this range rifle that I have on me now, which is chambered in 5mm with the lowest damage receiver. Let's see how it fares. Alright, looks like it's going to be about 2 mags. Just about 35, 36 bullets. Let's see how we do in the highest damage receiver, semi-automatic. And he goes down in about 12 shots. Now, not all of those were in critical places. It's a nice little mix, so about 12-ish. Let's see how we do with the full auto variant, max damage. Probably should have started by reloading. Alright, not too bad in terms of bullet use. However, the time to kill was much faster, so full auto is definitely worth taking, especially if you're running the commando perks. And that's basically everything. The range rifle is a super cool, lore-friendly addition to your game. Very reminiscent of classic Fallout weapons, and I really enjoy the style of this thing and a lot of the features that it offers. Definitely a well-crafted and well-made mod with a lot of thought put into it. And again, there's 2 versions. One is the regular version with a standalone rifle, and the other one actually replaces the combat rifle if you want to add that to your game as well. So, if you want to try it out for yourself, it will be linked in the description as always, and don't forget to go out there and support the mod author. If you enjoyed the mod, endorse it. Consider donating if that's something you're able to do, but most of all, just show your appreciation for all of their hard work. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a rating. Subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace! And hey, shout out to all of our patrons for their continued support. As always, your donations are greatly appreciated and help to fund videos just like this one. So again, thank you.